Hi, everyone. Happy Wednesday. If you are a new viewer, welcome. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. My name is Colleen, and this live stream is made possible by Princess Dental Staffing. Happy to see everyone on this Wednesday. So today's topic, we are talking about dental office maintenance checklists, okay? Your dental practice runs on equipment, right? And whether that's, the specialized equipment that's associated with the dental industry, such as x-ray machines and ultrasonic cleaners, sterilizers, and all of those pieces of equipment, or whether it's your more run-of-the-mill equipment, computers, and those sorts of things, right? But all of that needs to function in order for your office to function. And to ensure that everything is functioning correctly, you definitely want to keep up with your routine maintenance. So today we're going to be sharing with you several maintenance checklists to make sure that you've got everything squared away, that everything continues to run well and run precisely and run accurately and run efficiently so that your office can do the same. Okay? Alrighty. But before we dive too deeply into that, just want to remind everyone that Princess Dental Staffing is an online dental job board. They have positions available for dental office receptionists, dental assistants, dental hygienists, and dentists in a variety of different areas. And they have full-time, they've got part-time, they've got permanent and temporary roles in a lot of different areas. So hop onto princessdentalstaffing.com today, see what positions they have available in your area. You can also, while you're on princessdentalstaffing.com, create a profile and get your information in front of decision makers and potential hiring managers. Okay. You can also take a look at their blog. Their blog covers a lot of the same topics that we cover in these live streams. Speaking of these live streams, each week we are bringing you a new live stream on Wednesdays. And if you don't want to miss out on future streams, be sure to follow our page or subscribe to our channel. And if you want to be part of the conversation, comment below with any thoughts or questions or insights. And if we can't address them when this stream is live, then we will definitely get to them as soon as possible. Okay? Alrighty, so let's get into these checklists. So like I was saying before, the proper functioning of all of your equipment ensures the proper functioning of your entire office, right? And when that equipment is not working, if it's down or not working correctly, it can have a domino effect, right? It can have a domino effect on patient appointments. Maybe they're late, which makes the remaining patient appointments late. Maybe you have to end up having to refer your patients out if your equipment's going to be down for a while. Maybe you have to reschedule your patients. So it can result in lost time, which results in lost patient appointments, which results in lost revenue. And all of that is just a huge no-no, right? That's all things we want to avoid. So the best way to try to avoid those things is by taking care of your equipment and making sure that that maintenance is part of your regular schedule. Okay, so let's talk about some of these maintenance checklists. Okay, so let's start off with dental office maintenance checklist, the start of the day. So at the very beginning of the day, you want to make sure that you're doing all of these things. Okay, turning on the master water switch in the workplace. Vacuum and air compressor systems should also be turned on. Check the fluid levels in the sterilizer and x-ray processor. Top them off if necessary, and then turn them on. Hand pieces should be cleaned, lubricated, and sterilized. Turn on the delivery systems and open the oxygen and nitrous tanks, right? So it's turning on a lot of equipment and making sure that it's working correctly. Look into using an ultrasonic cleaner. Turn on the nitrous oxide, oxygen cylinders, and alarm system. And if necessary, replace the developer and or fixer replenishment bottles and switch on the film processor as well. So at the start of the day, those are definitely the things you're going to want to check off first. Okay. Now, throughout the day, you're going to want to sterilize and lubricate hand pieces after each patient, right? So each patient contact has a potential to spread disease. So you definitely want to make sure you're sterilizing, lubricating those hand pieces. Disinfect operational equipment after every use. Okay. Always flush the hand piece water lines. Check the water level in self-contained and water system bottles. And check the chair's functionality by ensuring there are no strange noises or air or water leaks. Okay. So that's going to be your checklist throughout the day to make sure that everything that was up and running in the morning is still up and running throughout the day, okay? And then at the end of the day, you want to make sure to clean the operative HVE and saliva ejector tubings with a suction cleaner and clean or replace the delivery unit traps if you need to. Flush handpiece tubings, air water syringes, ultrasonic scalers, and air polishers with air if your delivery system has a self-contained water bottle system to prevent biofilm formation, right? Definitely want to prevent that. Ultrasonic cleaner should be drained and wiped out. And delivery systems, x-rays, sterilizers, power scalers, air polishers, film processors, vacuum and air compressor systems, and master water switches all should be turned off. Okay? I know that was a lot, but you definitely want to, we turned it all on in the morning, right? We got to turn it all off in order to save, not only save energy, but again, just, make sure that this equipment isn't being overused so that it can continue to work for you. Okay, so that's what we're talking about on a daily basis. Okay, so when you get in, what you should do throughout the day, and what you need to make sure gets done before you leave. Now let's talk about a weekly checklist. Okay, so weekly, you want to inspect, lubricate, or replace the dental chairs and handpieces O-rings if you need to. On your sterilizer, clean the door seal and the area around which it rests. Okay, clean and lubricate the suction unit's filters. In your plant area, keep an ear out for strange noises. Okay, all hard surface floors should be mopped. All carpeted areas should be vacuumed, right? That one's kind of a given. Windows and other glass surfaces should be kept clean, right? And all surfaces above shoulder level, as well as the ceiling, should be cleaned. And you want to disinfect the trash bins as well. Okay, so this is what you should be doing on a weekly basis to make sure that your area is clean and that your equipment and all of the things such as, like I said, floors and windows and everything continue to they don't get worn out too quickly, right? All right, now, so that's weekly. Let's talk monthly. So monthly, you want to check or replace the master water filter element in the utility or mechanical room. You want to clean or replace the plaster trap. Hand pieces in the lab should be cleaned and lubricated. Okay, check for deterioration of rubber items on analgesia systems. If it's damaged or torn, replace it. Check for deterioration in the emergency oxygen unit controls and rubber items. Using a test kit, check for germs in the sink or in the water, sink, delivery system water, all those different areas, okay? Check the output intensity of curing lights with the light meter. Check on sterilizer, check and pull the pressure relief valve. Check all lights for replacements and clean all locations that patients can see. Okay, so definitely do all of that on a monthly basis. Okay, now next, quarterly basis, right? So quarterly basis being 3 times a year, right? Every 4 months, or excuse me, every 3 months, so 4 times a year. I always get those confused. Yeah, quarterly. So you want to do it 4 times a year, about every 3 months. Okay, you want to replace the seals on the sterilizer door and cassette. On air abrasion units, do maintenance according to the manufacturer's instructions. Okay, so make sure you're keeping all of that documentation, the manufacturer's instruction documentation, either with the equipment or somewhere in a safe place where you can access it. Okay, the amalgam separator cartridge should be checked and/or replaced. Check the vacuum system's oil and filter and change according again to manufacturer's recommendations. Okay. Examine the battery backup on your computer to see how long it will last. Smoke alarms should be tested, right? And by restoring from a backup, you can double check your computer backup as well. Okay, so make sure you're doing all of that quarterly. Yeah, okay. And then next, we're going to talk about annually. Okay, so once a year or so. You want to replace the sterilizer door gasket as well as the cassette seals. Replace the compressor's oil, and have your fire extinguishers inspected if you have fire extinguishers, which you probably should. You definitely should. Make sure that they've been inspected within the allotted time frame. Okay. Have X-ray equipment inspected, calibrated, and certified. Okay. And conduct your staff OSHA training. OSHA, of course, being the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. They definitely make sure that we are keeping our work environments as safe as possible, not only for patients, but of course, for our team members as well. And lastly, go over emergency procedures with the staff, such as handling patients in crisis, what to do in the event of a fire, and all of those sorts of things, so that everyone knows kind of um, what to do in a variety of different, like, potentially crisis events. Okay, you definitely don't want your team members scrambling and not knowing kind of what to do in those situations, because usually in those situations time is very, very crucial, right? Okay. So those are the checklists daily, throughout the day, monthly, quarterly, annually. Now let's talk about cleaning the office, right? So you definitely want to make sure that the office is clean for several different reasons. First and foremost, of course, is patient safety, right? So you want to make sure that you're cleaning and disinfecting, the areas of the office that the patient can come into contact with, or your team members can come into contact with, okay? Because that helps mitigate the spread of infectious diseases. Okay. So really important to do that. The other important reason that it's important is because patients make judgments about you based on what they see in your office, right? So when a patient enters your office and they see, really clean and organized and sterilized areas, okay, they're going to have a good first impression. Whereas if they see something that's a little bit disorganized, a little bit messy, maybe even a little dusty or dirty, it's not going to be a really great first impression, and you're likely going to lose that patient. Okay. So you definitely want to make sure that you clean the office regularly as well. And that encompasses a few different things as well. So let's go over this checklist. You want to disinfect high touch areas on a regular basis. That might be daily, that might be weekly. It just depends on the area. Okay. But if it's a high touch area, more than likely you want to disinfect it, maybe even several times during the day. Okay. And how you do that is you want to make sure that you're cleaning up any visible debris, and disposing of it properly. And then you want to use a disinfectant to clean down the entire area. Okay. Number two, maintaining a clean bathroom. So making sure that regular restroom inspections are part of your daily maintenance schedule, maybe fixing any plumbing issues and those sorts of things. But you definitely want to make sure that you're checking, likely several times throughout the day, but definitely at least once throughout the day, how the bathrooms are looking. Okay, especially if you have restrooms that are for both your team members and your patients' use. Okay. Next, number three, dusting all surfaces, right? So you definitely want to make sure that you're dusting both high and low surfaces. Okay. Just because dust is high up doesn't mean it can't, come down, right? So you definitely want to make sure that you're dusting in order to remove harmful microorganisms from the air and the environment. You want to organize the reception area. So again, you want to make sure that everything has a place and everything is in its place, probably several times throughout the day, depending, right? So, in the front office area, you likely have maybe some decorations, maybe you have some magazines or reading materials. You may even have things like toys. I know my dental office has like toys in the front, for like the kids to kind of entertain them while maybe the parents or older siblings or whatever are in the back and getting worked on. They also have, my dental office also has a coffee and water area, which is so awesome. I have to have my coffee. So, but that can get very messy very quickly, right? That coffee and water area, especially if you have children running around. So make sure that you're organizing that area, cleaning up any spills and that sort of thing, and putting, everything away. And of course, making sure that it's disinfecting. Okay. And lastly, make sure that your disinfection procedures are compliant with industry standards. And when we're talking about industry standards, of course, again, we're talking about OSHA and also the CDC, Centers for Disease Control as well. So you can always hop onto their websites. It's really easy to find that information and those standards. Okay. Make sure that your disinfection procedures are meeting those standards. Okay. Alrighty, so those are your checklists. I know today's stream was a little bit boring. It was just a lot of lists, but these are so important to make sure that all of your equipment is up and running, and just so important to ensure that your office continues to function, so you don't have that domino effect, so you don't lose that time, so that you don't lose those patients, and so you don't lose that revenue. Okay. All right, so thanks for tuning in today with me, everyone. We will be back next week with another stream concerning a topic regarding your career in the dental industry. Until then, I hope you have a great week. Hope you have a great weekend. Continue to stay safe out there. I'll see you.